girl Cyn. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Today's video is all about repotting my Monstera with me and collecting rainwater. And I wanted to show you guys how I kind of go about watering my plants here at my home. So let's start with the video. Guys, it's about to rain, as you guys can see. Let me show you. It's about to rain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect some rainwater. I have my buckets filled out right here. It's gonna rain, you guys. It's getting really dark outside, so I'm gonna collect some rainwater for my plants. Instead of using my tap water to water my plants, I'm gonna use rainwater. So I'm gonna leave these buckets out, and hopefully it starts to kind of like rain a little bit, and I'm gonna collect the water, put them into some jugs, and I'm gonna feed my babies with them. Okay guys, the rain is coming down really hard. Hopefully none of my buckets that are in that corner over there, none of them topple over because it's raining. It's raining, man. Hey, hallelujah, it's raining. But then you see my buckets over there. I'm hopefully they don't turn over, but it's raining really badly. You guys, it's raining outside, and before it gets like even harder, I want to go check on the bucket and show you guys how it looks. So it's raining a little bit. I'm gonna go outside and thug it out for you guys so you guys can kind of see. Kind of run here a little bit, but yeah, collecting water.
3 days later.
So this is my lovely Monstera. I call her Monstera the Stallion because she's a big girl. So I'm going to repot her because I do want her to have a little bit more room so that she can grow, and I want to put her in a corner of my wall, or a corner of my room, I should say. And I want to make her grow as big as she possibly can because I want her to climb my wall. So I am going to kind of loosen her up. She was a bit root bounded in this nursery pot that she came in, so I eventually had to go in with some scissors and to kind of wiggle her out of this pot. Now you want to be extremely gentle when trying to get them out of their nursery pot, because if you're going to cut them out of the nursery pot, you do not want to cut the roots out. And as you guys can see, she's very packed tightly in that. So what I'm going to do is that I brought this huge clay pot at, I believe, Home Goods, and it was about maybe $25, and I want to transport her. So the potting soil that I use is from Miracle Grow, and I'm going to be using a little bit of that. It is mixed with perlite. I believe it's also mixed with peat moss. I will link everything down below in the description box so you guys can kind of see how the soil is mixed. And I'm going to take some more soil and I'm going to place it inside of the clay pot. This clay pot was really big, so it required a lot of soil. I'm adding soil to the clay pot. Now you want to add a little bit of the mixture on the bottom. You do not want to kind of plant your plants very tightly in the actual clay pot. You want the roots to be able to kind of grow out effortlessly. And I will keep repotting this Monstera until I can't repot it any longer. This is my first Monstera, so it's very, very precious to me. So I could not, for the life of me, get her out of her nursery pot. She was fighting me every step of the way. So I grabbed some scissors and I decided to cut her out. Now, be extremely gentle because you do not want to cut any of the roots, and that would just damage the plant. So I'm carefully kind of like taking scissors and kind of peeling back the nursery pot. Now you want to take your time peeling the nursery pot open. I did cut a root. I felt really bad, and that was only because she was root bound. Now you do not have to repot your Monstera. If you want them to stay that size, you can keep them root bounded. They actually like to be root bounded. But if you want your Monstera to kind of grow as big as it can possibly be, then you would want to repot it. Some people kind of leave them in their nursery pot for years, and that's only to kind of like stunt the growth of the actual plant. And as you can see, the roots are absolutely beautiful. They're nice and white. So I'm going to peel back the nursery pot and I'm going to transport it into my new clay pot. Now there's some leftover soil inside of the nursery pot. I'm going to take some of that soil and I'm going to place it inside of the new pot. Now what you can do if you want completely new soil, you can go ahead and rinse out the roots and then from any of the dirt that was already previously on it, and then you can put the roots back into a new soil. But since this plant is okay, I decided to just go ahead and just use the actual soil that it was already previously in. I did lose an aerial root, um, unfortunately, but Monsteras have a lot of aerial roots. You do not want to bury any of the aerial roots in soil. You can, but I just do not do that. I like to keep them out. Now that she is almost 95% planted, I'm going to take a moss pole and I'm going to place it inside of the plant so that she can kind of grow up. So I brought these moss poles off of Amazon. I wish they were just a little bit bigger because I know that she's going to outgrow this moss pole very quickly. It did come with two. So I'm going to be using just one of the poles because I have plans on using the other pole on another plant. So this is how they look. You do want to water this as well. Some people forget that they do need to water their moss poles when they are watering their plants as well. Now this was a little difficult. It did come with some strings so that you can kind of hold the vines with. You want to be careful if you're going to be using this because you want to make sure that you leave room for the vines or the stems to kind of like flourish new babies. So it was kind of difficult for me because I kind of had to make sure that I wasn't disrupting any of the other leaves, and plus I had more leaves coming in as well, so I didn't want to disrupt. Now you don't want to tie too tightly because like I said, we do want our plant to grow up, but we also want to give it a little bit of room. So what I did was I tied the smaller ones at the bottom and then the longer pieces at the top. So I did make into a bow. You want to take your time when doing this because you only want to do this maybe just once, and the next time you don't want to do this maybe for a couple of more months. So the first time, do it right the first time. Just do it right the first time. So I'm just taking my time and I'm going to get the smaller pieces at the end because the babies will eventually grow out. It will finish straight just like the older babies. And what I mean is that they'll have the beautiful holes that the Monstera is known for. Now this is my first Monstera and this is the most easiest plant that I have ever owned. It's it's not like my peace lily that's so damn dramatic. This is such an easy plant to work with. So if you want your first plant to be as easy and peasy, I do suggest getting a Monstera. As you can see, there's one that is going to be growing out very shortly, so I did not want to put the string right on top, or right on it I should say, just above it, because I want to give it some room to kind of grow out. But this is how it's looking. I love, of course, keep the aerial roots out, and I love how it came out, and I will be placing it in its corner. Now this is the rainwater that I collected outside when it was raining. So I'm going to take this canister. I got it from IKEA for about $2, and I'm going to water my Monstera. After you repot your plants, you do want to water them because they are going through a lot of trauma while you're transporting them or transplanting them. So you want to make sure that you kind of give it back its nutrients and to kind of make sure that they are back. So I'm going to also water the moss pole as well. And this is my Monstera the Stallion. Look how beautiful she is. She's going to get just bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just cannot truly wait to see how big she is going to get. And that's my pothos, my golden pothos down there. I've gotten really into plants. These are my children. I love them so much. And they are what I wake up for. Like, they're the reason why I wake up. Look how beautiful they look. They absolutely are beautiful. So I want to show you guys how I water my plants. So this is a spider plant, and I'm using a bucket to catch any of the water coming out of its drainage holes because this one is hanging from my ceiling. Yes, I just moved. I'm still trying to get my home together. I'm trying to be very patient with, furnishing it. But of course, my plants, I love them. So they're everywhere. This is a mini Monstera, and I just got this from the farmer's market. Shout out to everybody at the Yellow Green Farmer's Market. I love them. They know about my channel. They do watch me, and I am going to water them. I am using the rainwater, and after I kind of get all of the water through the drainage holes, I'll show you guys how it looks. I just throw away all of that excess water out down the sink. So I'm going to keep watering all of my plants. I have quite a few. Now, before you actually water them, you want to make sure that they're moist. If they're moist, just leave them alone. That particular plant was moist, so it did not need any water. Now moving on to the next one, because I have two Justcynias. So I'm going to be this plant is such an easy plant. Like, you don't understand. Like, I've had this plant for maybe 4 months. The easiest plants, hand down. If you want an easy plant, Monstera or Justcynias are the easiest plants to grow, and just leave them in a well-lit area. So this one is at the corner of my doorway. Another easy way to water your plants efficiently, and easiest way that I know how to do it, is just taking a regular plain old bucket, and you're going to place the plant inside of the bucket, and you're going to take your rainwater and you're going to water it, and then you're just going to hear all of the water coming out of the drainage hole. You want to make sure that you kind of evenly water your plants. Then I'm going to lift the plant out of the bucket, and you will see the remaining water that's in there from the drainage. And then I'm just easily going to throw that out. Now, if you do not have access to rainwater, don't really feel like going through all that hassle, just take filtered water. This is filtered water from my refrigerator. I'm going to fill up my canister, and I'm going to use that water. I'm going to water my plants. I did use tap water for a minute, I'm not gonna lie, but I decided that I want to treat my children right. So I decided that I'm either going to use filtered water or rainwater. And these are the only two types of water that I use to plant, or to water my plants. Now, to get rid of those pests, I use neem oil. After I water my plants, I spray them down with neem oil, and that's going to get rid of the spider mites if you do have them. It's also going to, it's a preventative measure, honestly. I like to spray down the leaves, the back of the leaves as well, because I don't want any pests or gnats or any of those sorts. As you guys know, once you have plants in your home, that can be easily annoying. Now, I do like to clean up after myself as well when I plant my children. It's just easier, that keeps the house cleaned. I like to keep a clean house because having plants sometimes can get pretty messy, especially the watering. Now, I did get some new nodes in the mail today. I got a neon pothos, a marble pothos, and I brought them off of Etsy. I will link down the store down below. The reason why I wanted to get these was to propagate. So I'm going to take them out of the packaging and I'm going to give them just a slight rinse. These are some new babies that came in the mail, and I'm super excited because I get to propagate and make new plants. And that is a way of you not having to buy plants, but just creating some of your own. So this is one of my propagation stations that I do have in my bathroom area. And it gives the bathroom area a really nice touch. Like, it is definitely a discussion piece. Like, people go to my bathroom like, what is that? Why are there plants in there? It's definitely a discussion piece. So I already have some that I've already been propagating. This is a pothos as well. And now if you want to create a full pot, you want to maybe plant maybe, I want to say 8 to 10 in a pot. So here are some of the new babies that I'm going to be growing, and I'm super excited to see how they turn out. So this is the end of the video. Hopefully you guys liked this video, and I will see you guys in my new video. Bye guys.